Hi, Stitchers.
Hi, I'm Laura,
And I'm Keisha, and we're the Pattern Queens, and this is Stitch With Us, episode 57.
and we are jumping in today to do something different. But right now, we just want to welcome you all to the channel. We hope that you'll grab a project, a forgotten project is the theme of today, and a beverage and a snack, and sit down and just have a chat with us.
Yes. So, do you want to show what you're working on, and I'll show what I'm working on, and then you can kind of go into why we're doing this today?
Okay. I am working on Blackbird Designs America because this is designed by Barb Adams, and today's theme is about forgotten stitches. So I was so excited to get this last year, and I got this far, so it looks like a necktie,
Yes.
and then it's been sitting. And I also have Maggie Smith on here. We'll explain
Mhm.
that in a minute.
Um, I'm not actually, I'm doing one that I forgot I had in my stash to start. This is Stitching in the Round by JBW. Uh, I had not started this yet, so I'll show you. I have like one stitch in there. I
Where is
don't,
it?
it's right next to
Okay.
the
I'm like,
table.
wait, I can't even see.
This is on a piece of probably 28, maybe 32 count linen from my stash. I'm not sure exactly what it is. And then I'm not using the called for colors, but I'm using this really pretty floss that we got in one of the black needle boxes, which is called Jane Jetson from Night Stalker's Calling.
I love that one because it's kind of purpley pinkish and it has speckles.
So I thought it'd be fun for this one.
I didn't tell you anything about mine. I'm stitching on a piece of uh 30 count Hogwild Blue linen because the tag is still on it from my
Oh,
old LNS, the old
all
mill
right.
stitchery. And I'm using the DMCs that were charted.
Mm.
So I was I saw that somebody had tagged me in a post and I went to look at it, and or it said that somebody had posted in a photo in a post I was tagged in, and I thought, well, what is that? So I went and looked, and I've recently joined Soulful Stitching, which is Melanie Watkins' group on Facebook. And many of you will know that Minnie Gray died recently, and she was a lovely person. I got to meet her once at StitchCon a few years ago, and she was a floss tuber and just was a lovely, generous person. And so Melanie is hosting it's been going for a few days, for like the whole weekend. And I
Mhm.
just saw it this morning. But the idea was to pull out a project that you've forgotten and work on it, to honor our um, stitchers that we have lost in the community. And so I'm using the Maggie Smith because Maggie Smith also died this year. And I like to
Mhm.
think that she was a stitcher.
Right. She had Stitcher energy at least.
There you go. And Barb is the designer on my piece, and she didn't die this year, but it was in recent years, and it was a pretty big hit when that happened.
Hmm.
And do you want to
Yeah,
talk about our friend?
sure. So we lost in the past year, we've lost our friend Vicky, who actually, if you go way back, we did a stitch with us with Vicky at one point whenever we were in Panera and we all kind of stitched together.
Yes.
Um, she was a lovely person who was very passionate about stitching. She stitched just about anything with a cat on it that she could find.
Hmm.
And but she would also stitch dragons for her son and lighthouses for her daughter, and
Yes.
also coffee things for her daughter. So it
And
was
she
always oh, go
loved
ahead.
Blackbird Designs too.
Mhm.
So,
So it was always interesting to see what she had. Especially it's fun to be. friends with stitchers who stitch things that you wouldn't stitch because then you get to see them work up and it's almost as good as stitching it yourself. Because I don't have cats. And I see the cat things and I'm like, oh, well, I don't need to stitch a cat thing because I don't have cats. And so it was always fun to see. And um,
You had
part
to
of,
look quick though.
oh, yeah. Oh, she was done with things so fast. One of the faster stitchers that I knew. And she was just really dedicated. I mean, that was her main hobby was stitching and she just really loved it. And we got together for a while there. We were getting together every Thursday.
Uh-huh.
Um, which was really nice. I have a something that she stitched up in James's room, that she gave me at my baby shower for him. And part of so the reason why I chose like a purple sort of palette for this is I think her favorite was purple, but also I don't know what it is about the stitching community. A lot of people like purple in the stitching
Mhm.
community. So,
Kind of a fun tie-in with purple. When I was younger, little, and went to camp, we had a camp counselor who was very emotional, right?
mhm.
And if we found her crying, she would just say she was sitting in purple puddles,
Mm,
which I always think is really cute.
yes, yes.
And she wasn't necessarily sad. She was just a highly emotional person. So
Yeah.
Vicky is somebody that I knew because of the Old Mill Stitchery, and we had stitched together for many, many years. And it was fun to see all the different things that she would come up with.
Hmm.
So, and um, she was somebody who would ride along with me. I could let Vicky know, hey, I'm gonna go to the cross stitch shop. You want to go? And she would be like, yes, I'm ready.
Right, right.
Let's go. So, um, yeah, it's fun to think about all those things. The three of us had a sow that we started. That's one of my pictures that popped up as a memory not very long ago. Did we start it around the fall or did we start it more like in the spring so that we would have it for fall?
I think we maybe started in the spring. We started it at a stitch together, I remember.
Hmm. And it's a Halloween piece. And
Hmm.
just it was cute. And we all three had the pattern and we're like, that's it. We want to do it.
Right,
So it was fun to see how they came together. We all three finished it. Of course, Vicky finished it in about 2 days. And
right, right.
Keisha and I are like, yeah, we got to push to get this done by Halloween.
Well, and Vicky was one of those unique stitchers. I say unique, I know there are lots out there, but she did not like to have whips. She stitched on one thing at a time unless something got put in timeout.
The other thing that I've seen recently is a lovely remembrance. Lisa Roswell was the designer behind the primitive needle.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm saying the right one. And um, her daughter has recently begun making her patterns available. She was a designer who just died tragically from a freak accident, and her daughter has begun putting her patterns, converting them to PDF, and
Oh,
she's gotten help to do that. And there is a Facebook group for this, and you can go in and buy the patterns again.
oh wow.
She did a lot of really cool Halloween things, but a lot of primitive things as well. So
Hmm.
if that's something that interests you, I should look and see what the name of the group is. I'll do that real quick.
Yeah.
And of course, I pull this up And the first thing I see is that one of the teachers I work with lost her dad this week.
Oh no.
Yeah, we knew it was coming. Um, there were just a lot of things going on. Okay, so the group header, let's just go to my group. Looks normally mine adjusts. It does not want to. Maybe it's my little light here. Looks like this.
Mm.
But what I can show you, she just had some really fun pieces.
Oh,
So
fun.
that's a more general one. Oops.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I mean, she just had some fun things. Gather is a companion piece for, come on, I'm trying to make sure that this stays down. For gaze,
Oh, very pretty.
really cool. And oh, she just has so many great things. It's hard to like pick.
Hmm.
I love this little witch.
Oh, yes.
And she did some fun, funky little alphabets.
Oh, that's fun.
I think this one is Guard. Oh, no, it's not Garden. I
Mm.
don't know that there's a name on it. But yeah, so that's one that if you're interested in joining the group and finding more, you will see all sorts of crazy little things. She did a fun little Jack game board.
Oh, fun.
So yeah,
I'll have to check that out. I've never stitched any of her things.
she had some really fun designs, and I knew about her and had purchased several. And then Katie is always on the lookout for those. Like I got this America pattern at the garage sale last year. Our LNS will let people bring in unused or out of print charts and things. And Katie is always on the lookout for primitive needle patterns
Mm.
to pick up because they are just like gold. I think because things happened so suddenly, there was no warning. She's someone I can't think where she lives north, or she lived north of us and was headed to work. I believe she was a nurse, and all of the flooding was occurring because of the melt off from snow,
Hmm.
and her car was swept off the highway into the water next
Oh,
to them.
wow.
So it was, I mean, it was just such a shock when it happened. I remember that. And um yeah, it it just makes you think how precious things are.
Right, right. Live every day to the fullest.
Hmm. Barb Adams, I would run into her because they were local to us. Alma these days, I feel like spends more time where her grandkids are, but I would run into them in the cross stitch shops, and more recently it was Barb I would run into. And when we held a retreat in 2019, I had run into Barb while I was out with Katie and said, "Oh, hey, you should just come have fun at a retreat. And you should come and just stitch with us. You would just thrill the people at the retreat." And she showed up and gave just a little talk and then walked around and chatted individually at each table with people. Do you
Yeah, that
remember
was
that?
fun. Yes, that was fun.
We kept her a surprise, so she just showed up and it's like, "Hey guys, here's Barb." This one will kind of fit in with my um plans to stitch on 13 patriotic pieces.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And probably I need to do a lot of distracted stitching with this because the flag is beautiful and it's the central thing, but it is just a lot of back and forth fill, and you have to get
Right.
the edges just right. And
Yeah, definitely. Uh, I am going to be excited to have this started, because I really, really like this pattern. Um, but sometimes I have a hard time starting things and making choices about what it needs to be. And I really like JBW's patterns because it's a lot of just like little motifs. Even if you only stitch one thing, you feel like you accomplished something.
Mm. And you want to tell how this came about today?
Oh, so uh
Because you said you have a hard time making choices.
right. So I had to make a choice in like 10 minutes or less. Laura said, I don't have a whole lot to show. Have you seen this? And I was like, well, I don't have a lot to show either. Yes, I have. And then I was trying to think of something forgotten or something in memoriam that I was stitching. And I have a couple pieces. The one that's easiest to get to is Flying Pink Piggy, which I um, am stitching in memory of my grandma. And my grandma was not a stitcher. And because she is not a stitcher, I am a stitcher because whenever she uh, retired, her coworkers bought her a couple of cross stitch kits and she did not want them. And I was at her house over the summer just looking for something to do. She's like, "Here, you can do this." And that's how I started stitching actually. So, but sometimes the pig would be easy to work on during a stitch with us, and sometimes it's not. And I think I'm at a point where it would take a little bit too much concentration.
More confetti.
hmm So I looked around at what I had near me because I didn't want to go out. The baby is being very clingy today, so I didn't really want to go out and disturb all that. And I saw this pattern and it's like, well, I guess I'll do that. So then I did have to go out to my stitching stuff and get some floss, but it's okay.
I was taught to stitch by the next door neighbor who taught me embroidery at a
hmm
very young age.
hmm
She kept her granddaughter. I've told this story before, but in case you don't know, I'll be quick. She kept her granddaughter during the summers, and she insisted on quiet time in the afternoon when it was hottest, and we could either read or do embroidery. And I thought that I could still talk while I did embroidery, so that's what I chose. Which is funny because I think that Betty, her granddaughter, actually chose reading.
Oh.
But I ran home, told mom that Miss Martin said I could come and do embroidery. And so my mom pulled out her tea towels and stamped them because, of course, that was something that you had available in those days. And my mom always had something crafty around.
hmm
And I took off down to Miss Martin's. I don't know who provided the floss. I don't know if we had that around or if Miss Martin pulled some out. But we didn't even worry really about color. If I had stems or leaves, we just pulled the green. If I had flowers, we pulled whatever color we wanted. Trees, we just pulled brown. But Miss Martin just sat me down and put me to work learning how to do embroidery. And I always say she's the reason that I have neat backs because
Ah.
she had very specific rules about how far you could travel and what you had to do to travel,
hmm
your floss across the back. But really, the joke was on me because I was probably quieter stitching because I really focused. I really liked it.
Right.
I was probably quieter doing that than I would have been trying to force myself to read.
Mm.
And also, then in future years when Betty wasn't there during the summer and it was just me, I we I would oftentimes go out to the back where we had a big mulberry tree, and I could tuck that book and climb the tree and get way high up in the branches. And then I would sit up there and read
Mm,
through the hot part of the day. So I get that summertime laziness.
yes. I probably would have picked reading. I was uh I'm trying to get back into reading. Um Currently. I'm doing pretty well this year, but I used to just that was all I did. I just read constantly.
I read a bunch, but yeah. I mean, I was hanging out with Betty. I wanted to do something where we could be social,
Right.
which is funny because I feel like cross stitch is a very social thing.
Hmm.
Um, Although I do know when we're on chats, a lot of times we will find the room silent because everybody has just gotten so focused on what we're doing.
Oh, sure. Um, Speaking of just like the memories of people and cross stitch being social, my grandpa, who I was very, very, very close to, not a stitcher, but he loved watching me stitch. I could sit at the kitchen table for like an hour and he would just watch me drink his coffee and just watch me stitch, um, which was kind of nice. He took such a big interest in it. And as he kind of got older, I started doing some needlepoint type stuff on plastic canvas because it was easier for him to see. And I learned a whole bunch of different kinds of needlepoint stitches and things. And he'd ask me how I did them each time. So I would have to like give him a little demonstration. He never tried. He just wanted to know how I did whatever. And I have it in my house. I don't have it in this room, or I'd show you. But one year for Christmas, I made him like a little needlepoint box that had his initials on it. And it was pretty much a sampler box. On every side of this box, I did a different type of needlepoint stitch so that he'd ask me how I did it, and so I could tell him about it. So
That's so fun.
he loved stitching, not the actual practice of it, but watching someone else do it. And I never asked. I should have asked. I wonder if he had someone in his family whenever he was younger who used to do it. And maybe that just brought back memories for him.
My dad always did leather work. That
Mm.
was interesting to see. So I had purses and belts, and he made little shoes, little slippers for the kids when they were babies,
Oh, fun.
and my mother crocheted a lot.
Oh, cool.
But also, like at my house, probably like your grandma, my mom just wanted to keep me busy. And
Hmm.
so I tried all sorts of different things. We had just a lot of crafts. We did the pot holders with the
Hmm.
loops
Hmm.
and the loom. Did you ever do those?
No, I never did.
Oh my goodness, you need to do those. James would probably think that was the best fun.
Probably so. He's a
And
crafty boy.
the great thing about those is that they are useful. You can use them as pot holders and they are lovely. But also, when you get bored of the colors, you can just pull them apart and
Hmm.
make a new one.
Mm.
They wash nicely. Yeah, so that was fun. And then I said that mom stamped her tea towels. What we normally did instead of stitching was we used the paints. Why can I not think of who the maker is? But they came in a tube, and you
Hmm.
could paint the things on. You would stamp a pattern and then paint the little pieces.
Oh. Mm.
So it had a little ball tip that would
Yeah.
roll around.
Oh, cool.
And when I got a little bit older, I tried out Creative Circle and they had all sorts of different things. So I did some, um, well, I did get some embroidery kits, and that's where I picked up my first cross stitch kit. And I also did candle wicking. I
Oh,
might have
fun.
actually gotten that from Current Magazine because they put out little kits.
Hmm.
But candle wicking is basically white on white, and you make a lot of French knots.
Oh, wow.
French knots do not intimidate me.
Well, there you go.
So it was fun, to always I loved being in the crafty environment. It's always been my fun, happy, safe place.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I'll have to break out some different types of crafts because James is really into crafts right now.
well, the pot holder thing is kind of fun because it's a weaving thing.
Hmm.
So you have a little loom that has little spikes sticking up all the way around, and you
Hmm.
stretch the loops in one direction on
Hmm.
there. And then when you're ready, you get one for the other side and you hook it on that side. And then you weave in and out through the straight set that you have to make the
Hmm.
cross hatch, and you get them all the way around.
Oh,
And then at
fun.
the end, you have to loop the edges together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he'd probably like something like that. He did inform me the other day that he was going to be an artist when he grew up, so gotta figure out what type of art he likes best. Right now it's painting.
We did rug hooking too.
Oh,
I
fun.
mean, I did like everything under the sun. That was just the thing to do.
Hmm.
We didn't have the internet, so we did a lot of entertaining ourselves.
Right. Yeah, I've done a little bit of latch hooking stuff and a couple of other things because whenever I'd go to my grandparents' house, my grandma would just buy we'd go to whatever craft section of the local store that they had, which was never a whole lot of anything, but and just buy whatever little kid kit they had to keep you busy.
It's always fun to just get something and try it out.
Hmm.
Um, so the other thing for me is that this coming Thursday is my birthday.
Yes.
And the reason I even thought about that right now is we're talking about neighbors and neighborhoods, and I didn't have a lot of kids in my neighborhood who were um my age or kids that I played with, not right on my street. But
Hmm.
across the street lived this family who had a boy who was born the same day I was,
Oh,
like
wow.
the same day. So he would every year come over and bring me some sweet little gift and tell me happy birthday. And usually I
Oh.
had cookies or something like that, some home baked
Hmm.
good to give him.
Oh, that's nice.
So, but how strange, right? That on the
Right.
street, seriously across the street from me, is someone born on the same day I was.
Yeah, that's so kind of going down that path. Whenever I was pregnant with James, I saw that two women that I graduated high school with were also pregnant with around the same due date. One of them ended up having their son a month early. And then but one of them had her daughter the exact same day I had James. It's like, oh, how weird is that?
And I have two cousins from two different families who are also very close to the same time that I was born. One in July, just um, several days after me. And then the other one was born in August. But
Oh,
yeah, we're just I
Yeah.
do have a lot of people that I know right around my own birthday. And Katie's birthday is July 8th.
Mm,
So she's pretty close. And then Bree's birthday is the 21st.
nice. Yeah, see, I, I my family used to be full of July birthdays too. My birthday is the 31st. I had my dad's mom's birthday was the 26th, and my grandpa, who liked to watch me cross stitch, his birthday was the 7th.
Yeah,
And so, but they've both since passed away, but now James's birthday is the 14th. So,
it's a big, busy month for
it
sure.
definitely is. I love these patterns because I'm like, ooh, what little thing am I going to go stitch now?
And they're close enough that you can move from one to the
Hmm.
other.
Like, do I want to do a teeny tiny heart? Do I want to do a bobbin?
They are fun like that. I'm just doing rows.
Mm,
You're probably seeing my needle go back and forth, back and forth.
yeah. You're going to have a lot of progress, and I'm not going to have very much of that, but that's okay. That's usually the story of us
Yeah,
anyway.
mine's not going to be exciting though, because mine
That's
is
true.
just filling in a stripe.
I'm gonna have a couple different things. And you're gonna be like, whoa, Keisha, you did so much stitching. And I'll be like, I did 50 stitches.
I don't even know how many stitches I've done, but I already had to reload my needle.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know how many
So
stitches. I'll have to count them up after.
yeah, that would make me think that I have done somewhere around 100 stitches, just because I know about what I pull.
Oh, see, because again, I prepped this in less than or around 10 minutes. I cut my floss lengths a little bit too short. So I'm not sure. Oh, well, I just pulled that right through to the back.
I don't even
Um,
think you're going to have to play with color placement too much, though.
No, not really, because these motifs are all small enough that it's not gonna like I was able to get two things out of that one length of floss that I just used. So
That's nice.
I did have to have the debate with myself about whether or not I wanted to do this over one, because I like to do these over one, because then there's just these teeny tiny little sweet things. But I'm not. I'm doing it over two.
Oh, so this is going to be your tired eyes project.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be my huge JBW. Um, Oh, well, now I have a knot. Ah, man. It's not going well over here.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. I got it.
I am actually getting close-ish to finishing this first section.
Okay. Well, you'll have to let me know when you get to a good stopping point, because this is the kind of thing that I could just work on forever and ever. And then I'd look up and be like, oh, we should probably let you go.
We've been talking for a while. Uh, I do have a project that Vicky passed off to me,
Hmm.
a pattern that she passed off to me that I should make a point to pull out and kit up and get started. I think it would be easier now too. I believe it called for like the Simply Wool flosses,
Mm.
and I would like to check that out and see what the difference is, how those
Yeah,
feel.
that'd be cool. Yeah, she wasn't afraid to try something new,
No.
but she always wanted to do the things as called for. She didn't really deviate too far
Yes, that
from the
is true. She would call a shop and say, kit that up and send it to me.
right.
Exactly the way it calls for it. Get that up.
Yeah. And she would call multiple shops if it was a hard to find fabric or floss. She would just really hunt it down. She'd ask everybody she knew if they had any extra of this certain type of floss, if she couldn't find it somewhere.
We would all be on the lookout for things.
Hmm.
I had somebody that I am not familiar with contact me this week and say, "Hey, I saw your finish on this one project, and I want to know, are you wanting to keep that pattern? Do you still have it? Do you want to sell it?" And I was showing Katie, and she said, "Mom, that pattern's for sale at the quilt shop, like right inside the door. I saw it."
Hmm.
And it's a blackbird, as funny things will happen, right?
Hmm.
So I messaged the person. I said, "Hey, I don't know where mine is." And really, I didn't want to go into the whole big explanation. It's very possible that I've gotten rid of it, but also because we are still under renovation, I can't access all of my cross stitch stuff.
Sure.
So now I know how people feel when they move.
Hmm.
But I messaged and said, "Hey, I don't even think I have that. It's from a while ago that I finished it. I just recently got it framed." But my daughter tells me that this shop has it. They're local to us. They're very reliable, so you don't have any worries. You shouldn't have any concerns about contacting them.
Right.
And she wrote back and said, "Thank you." And a few hours later, she messaged back and said, "They had it. I got it. They're sending it to me."
Awesome.
So that was kind of fun. I mean, to not really have a personal connection and to just have somebody reach out and go through that was kind of a fun experience this week.
Yeah.
Makes me feel how much the community is connected.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about this community is for the most part, everybody just wants to help each other and share our love for the craft um even whenever we don't know someone well who passed, like it feels like
It
it
hits
impacts
hard.
all of us. Yeah.
Yes. I never made it to the attic, but just the lovely stories that have come out uh,
Hmm.
have been wonderful to see. And I mean, it's lovely to see how much people care about things
Right.
and about people. And yeah.
Right. Well, it makes me reflect kind of on being a floss tuber as well, because sometimes I meet people where I'm like, and well, even our friends, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing that on one of your videos," and I'm like, "Oh, you watch us? Somebody watches us?" Like, I know you guys are out there and you leave comments and you're all lovely, but it's just like if something were to happen to one of us, somebody would be like, "Oh man, I missed their videos," and that's kind of it's not a thing you think about, you know?
A little bit of posterity there, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got to the end of this. How are you?
I have 10 stitches left and I can finish this little motif if you want to vamp a little, or I could just stop in the middle of the bobbin.
Oh, you can keep going. It's okay. I'll just start on the next band because I was
Okay.
able to move over and the way that Miss Martin taught me. And because it's more than 10 stitches, I would be in big trouble.
Great.
Um, and I can just go back and forth here a little bit. So that's nice to have finished that first section.
Great. I will tell you, since we're not doing a normal floss tube this week, that I did get some stash. You know, the week that I get stash, we're not showing it off. Um, I
Oh, and next week will be stats.
uh-huh, uh-huh. So let me tell you about what I got. I got the all of the kit for the tiny modernist stitch along for
Oh,
Halloween.
nice. Your Halloween piece, right?
Yes, yes. So I'm very excited. I have the fabric, I have the floss, I have it all, in my bags. I have a project bag that was chosen for me because I pulled out two Halloween bags and I told James to choose, and he chose one for me. And so I'm ready. That starts on July 1st. So I'm really excited.
Awesome. So it starts Tuesday.
Yes. And then it's coming out in weekly installments. So we'll see if I can keep up with it. But I'm really excited. I'm excited for that.
That'll be fun. I forgot to remind you when it was the 25th, didn't I?
Yeah. But I tried to pull out something that was Christmassy, that it's not the Christmas wreath. I should probably should have pulled out the Christmas wreath because I was like, oh, here's a Christmassy thing that I would like to finish. And I saw that I had a counting error. So rather than
Oh,
stitch last night, I was trying to figure out
make
how
it
I was,
work.
yeah. So then I didn't end up stitching. June has been, you'll see next week. June has not been a good stitching month for me. I've not put in very many stitches, but that's okay.
I have
Um,
another finish.
oh.
So I've had a good number of finishes this month. If I could get one more in the next couple of days, I
Mhm.
would be at 20 finishes for the year, which is half of what I would like to get finished this
Yeah,
year. So
halfway through the year.
that would
So
be
that's,
lovely, right?
yeah, that'd be cool. I'm not sure how many finishes I'm at. I'd have to go and look. But most of my finishes I no longer have because they've either been models or things that I've stitched for others. And a lot of them have been smaller, so I haven't finished any like big projects this year. Hopefully, it's still in the plans to finish a couple of big things. As long as I don't continue to get distracted by little things like this or the tiny
Oh,
modernist cell.
I'm supposed to find my year at Hawk Run Hollow and do my July block in July.
Mm,
There's no way I'm getting through it in July.
right.
I mean, that would be a lot of stitches on one project.
That would be. Okay, I've got to the end of my little bobbin.
Awesome. Okay,
A
I'm going
little
to cross back
24
over.
stitch bobbin.
Okay, you want to show yours, and I'm just crossing back over.
Sure. So just a reminder, this is what the whole thing looks like, and I just started it today. So I stitched this hoop, these scissors, and this bobbin. And here they are.
Oh, look how cute.
They're little and cute, and it's fun. This thing, I mean, if I stick with it, it won't take very long, but of course, you'll probably see it done in like 4 years.
Okay, I think I got to a good spot there. So I am working on Blackbird Designs. I should just turn the light off. There we go. I'm working on Blackbird Designs America, which is an older chart. I don't know if she has it on here. I don't see a date on here. I always try and look for those things and I don't see one on here. But I finished. I put in this whole stripe, the cream,
Nice.
and I came up and started the next one.
Oh, that's exciting.
So it doesn't look like anything.
Oh, but doing a big stripe like that on something like that, that's exciting.
Yes. And it will be good. I'll fill in, I think I have all of this red in for the central part.
Hmm.
One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Yep. And I'm already on this one. So if I finish that and get this one in, then that center part is done and I can do these sides.
Yeah.
Now, here's the funny thing. This was stitched on a 10 count canvas
Hmm.
and they filled in the whole background.
Oh, wow.
I am not filling in the background because I chose wisely,
Yes.
and I feel like it's very similar.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll get the same feel of it.
I can't wait to turn this into something that doesn't look like a tie. But look at that border. It's going to be so fun.
Yes, that'll be fun.
So, anyway, we hope that you have had fun and had some good memories come up while we've been
Yeah.
stitching today.
Yeah, let us know kind of what you thought about and what your reflections are and what you worked on while we were gabbing today. So, do you think we rambled enough about stuff?
I think we probably did, and I'm sure there are lots of shenanigans in store.
Mm-hmm, for sure. So all that's left to say is bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good week.